Hey everybody, Louie Michael here. Just checking in to say hello and see how everybody is doing today. If you happen to log on here and you see this, please wave or send a hello or something. Let me know you're there. Sometimes I don't always get the feed as fast as I would like to or see the people that get on here and hopefully answer any questions you may have. But I did want to get on tonight and just encourage all of you to hang in there strong. Man, we've been going through this now for a couple of months, and it's really strange that we still, I don't know, when you go to a restaurant now, I saw people going in. Patty and I went out to eat tonight, and we didn't go inside anywhere, but we ordered from the car on the way in, and then we sat in the car in a parking spot and waited for him to bring it out. I was almost hesitant sitting out there because I wasn't sure whether or not you're supposed to go into the counter and pick it up. Some people were going in and picking it up, and others were going in to eat, so I knew it was probably okay to go in, but I think there's a certain luxury now. I love going in and eating at a restaurant, but I also think there's something about sitting out in the car, kind of like the old drive-in days, and having somebody bring it to you out to the curb, kind of like Steak and Shake used to do when they had curb service. Sitting in the car, listening to your own radio and eating. Now, eating a meal with utensils and all that, it's a little bit different. Tonight we had one of our favorite places we went in to eat, and we had some steak tacos, and but it made for a nice little date night, just sitting out in the car and eating and listening to music and just hanging out. Hi, Casey. Hi, Teresa. Michelle. See a few of you on here now. Denny. I was excited to see today. I don't know if y'all saw the news. I've got listed on here about the new 988 phone number. There you see it on your screen. It's pretty cool. The Senate passed a bill Wednesday that seeks to make a national suicide prevention hotline a 3-digit number, much like 911 that we have whenever there's an emergency. A lot of people may not know there is a hotline that you can call if you have suicidal tendencies, but that's not always the easiest number to remember. It's actually 1-800-273-TALK, which is 1-800-273-8255. And so if somebody's going through a lot of mental distress or something that's going on in their life and they can't remember that number, you can always call the 988 number, and hopefully the president will sign that into law, very soon. It's pretty exciting. It was passed. If it's passed and signed by President Donald Trump, the legislation would allow an individual seeking help to dial 988 and be directed to the hotline. The old number will still work. They'll keep that in effect. It says the bill will authorize states to collect fees aimed at ensuring local crisis centers will be able to support increased volume, and it also would direct government health agencies to submit a report to Congress detailing the different strategies that they've set up. I think there was another bill that piggybacked that. Anyway, it's going to cost the first year implementing this, I think, around $570 million, and then $175 million each year after. I'm glad that they finally recognized that that was needed. I've always been an advocate of that, getting that phone number started and to do something like that, because it's very important that we have something like that, especially for people that deal with PTSD, any sort of mental anxiety, stress, depression, and suicidal thoughts and tendencies. I've never steered away from that conversation. I've been there. I understand the desperation and the feeling. I've went through that in the younger days of my life, and even the older days of my life. There's been moments where I've had a hard time dealing with reality, and a lot of times it was things that I brought upon myself or things that happened to me that were out of my control. I was in a horrible accident. I think it's been 8 or 9 years ago now. I fell through a plate glass window, about lost my hand. And as you can see, praise God, they did a great job. It was Dr. Brian Ibsen. I had a total degloving of my hand. When I fell through the plate glass, it was a 7 foot tall window. And this was all a degloving. So they had to put all this muscle, everything back together. If you can imagine a glove being peeled off, that's the way my skin was, down to the bone. And I also had another place here. You can see it's pretty wide. Severed it all the way to the bone. Had no idea I'd done that at the time because I had a coat on and it just sliced it right through my coat. And then also ended up with a horrible head injury from the whole thing, because when I fell backwards, that glass came down on me and I hit my head on a piece of steel and cut my head open pretty deep, pretty wide. And I was coherent through it all, even while the ambulance drivers were there. I think it was Amanda 1 and Amanda 2 were their names, the paramedics. And like in any situation where I'm bleeding to death, I'm trying to keep everybody calm and keep everything light. And they didn't know what to think of me, but they took me to the tent, Mercy Tent in Joplin, Missouri. This was after the tornado in Joplin, and they took me to the tent and they sewed me up. And Dr. Brian Ibsen, four states, what do you call him? Anyway, the doctor's down there. He came in and he sewed me up, and I've sent him cards and letters of appreciation over the years. He's probably thinks I'm nuts, but I'm so grateful because, man, I can still hitchhike. I can do a thumbs up, number one, high five, all that. My hand works, and part of that's by the glory of God, which is awesome. Your sister, let's see here. We got a comment from Michelle. I gotta move you up here so I can read it. That is awesome. My sister in Colorado has lost 5 friends in the last weeks. 5. It's horrible right now. The death rate with the coronavirus is horrible, but there's also other things that are going to come along with this, being suicides, bankruptcies, a lot of different things. And it was curious to me a moment ago. I was reading an article that came out of Japan, and Japan actually said their suicide rate in April was down 20%. And it got me thinking as to why. And so I dug in a little bit more because, you know, everybody's dealing with this and a lot of people have been shut up and everything. But the Japanese are saying that basically less stress. They've been home with family. They have a lot less commuting. And if you've ever been to those places, the commute looks horrible. And more family time. So they're actually, the mental effects on the Japanese right now, it looks like they're dealing with it pretty well if their suicide rate has gone down. In other places, it's gone up. But they still had 1,455 suicides in just April of this year. So last year they had about 1,800 in April. But one suicide's too many. And I want to encourage you, if you are dealing with anything, any struggles, any PTSD, see a doctor, see who you can, and go talk to somebody and see if you can get help. And I've got, now this phone number that I've got up there, this 988, it's not in service yet, but it will be. As soon as the president signs it into effect. And I had written, I've actually got a letter that I received back from President Trump because I had written in about something like that in mental health of people. And I know they've been working on it. I got a really nice letter back, and they were talking about trying to implement some of these things. So now, seeing that, I mean, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic and there's a lot of other things going on, and I think that probably helped bring this to the forefront was to get this number started. But the new number will be 988, which is pretty exciting. It'll be a lot easier to remember because people, when they're in that state of mind and in that place of depression or anxiety, they don't always know what they're doing. And I want to encourage others that if you have something going on in your life, reach out to somebody and remove anything that you might harm yourself with, whether it be knives, guns, swords, whatever. Get those things out of the house. And that's a very valid point and important point for all those people that are out there living with somebody who may be suicidal. Try to remove those things from the premises. If it's your husband, your wife, your kids, whatever, try not to have those things accessible, because in that moment of pain, and that's what it is pain that they're going through, sometimes it's really easy to, if it's available, to do it without thinking. And if you're doing any sort of drugs or alcohol, that just makes it worse because that frees up some of your inabilities or inhibitions and fears that you may have. And I've had several friends that have committed or taken their lives, committed suicide while they were drinking. And that's a lonely place to be. So if you have any of that stuff around, make sure you remove it. But I was really excited about that phone number. That's what that is, 988. That'll be the new 911 number for anybody dealing with any sort of suicidal tendencies. It's pretty exciting. What else did I find in the news today? Looks like we're going to get some nasty weather at some point tonight, right? I guess everybody knows that, though. Exciting, huh? our little town of Seymour. I live in Rogersville, Missouri, and some of you may have seen my pictures earlier. I live here in the Indian Grove. I call it the Indian Grove, and we've got lots of wild animals out here and stuff. But I was out in Seymour today at a friend's property, and I had posted a video of a little red fox, and I felt like something was watching me, and I didn't know if it was just the security cameras or what. I just felt like there was something out there. So I kind of walk around the corner of the house a little bit, and I look down the hill, and there's this beautiful red fox down there, and she's looking up at me, just watching every move I make. So finally she ends up running down into her little den. And I don't know anything about foxes. Maybe you can help me. Is that something I can walk up and pet? Because I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and I thought, no, I better not go down there. And I actually need to go down that hill and get something, retrieve something at some time. But I didn't know if it would be a rabid fox or what. It's be my luck I'd get my ears chewed off or something by this little critter. But I also got to see a bald eagle today. It was down there as well, and it was eating, and I don't know what it was eating. It looked like it had a rabbit or something on the ground. But I was able to get a picture of it when it flew up into the tree. And I was talking to another friend today. It's funny that we were talking about eagles, or that I'd seen one, but I got a phone call from Larry O'Reilly, a friend of mine, and they've got a place down the James River, and they have 2 eagles nesting in a tree, on a sycamore tree down by the James River, and they can see it with their scope and everything from their house, so they're able to watch it feed all the little ones and everything like that. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Michelle, thank you for commenting. If anybody else would like to say anything, I see some of you have joined on. I'm a little displaced at the moment. I feel a little out of sorts because we're not going on tour this summer. As most of you know, I probably, or some of you know, I work some of these tours with some of these artists and entertainers. And I was supposed to be out with DJ Lux and AJ McLean and the Backstreet Boys and Ryan Stevenson and Francesco Yates. We were all going to be out on tour this year, and now it's not going to happen because everybody's kind of closed everything down. So it sounds like a lot of people are going to take the year off, the rest of the season off, and start back in again next spring. So I'm just trying to work here. I'm trying to work up some real estate stuff, and if anybody has a house they want to sell, call me. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. But I did want to get on here for a minute, say hello, and if you didn't know about this phone number that's coming up, it is really cool. Hopefully the president won't waste a whole lot of time in getting this signed, and they can get it started sooner than later. But it's going to be 988. That's going to be the new suicide hotline. They're going to keep the old phone number, which was 1-800-273-8255, and hopefully that'll stay in effect too if somebody does know that number. But this 988 is going to be a lot easier to remember. Let's see. I've got a comment here from Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Still need prayers. Have another infection and I'm facing another surgery next week, please. Absolutely. For those of you who don't know Deborah, she's been fighting a good fight, battling off the cancer, and she's been struggling with a few issues here. And those old infections aren't any fun, and surgery's definitely not any fun. But God will carry you through it. Just look to Him and keep your faith, and we'll be praying for you and hope everything turns out well. Yeah, it says she's been through a lot of hard times. Absolutely. I understand, and it stinks, but you know what? God is a God of healing and a God of faithfulness. He never leaves us, even through those hard times, no matter how many you have. I think most of us can vouch for having hard times, whether it be sickness, financial, a lot of different things. And through it all, He's always there. God's always there, and I'm thankful for that. I'm a true believer and a prayer warrior, and I always look to Him for guidance and for my own healing. It's like I was talking about a minute ago when I fell through that plate glass window, and I was getting to the point that, talking about PTSD and all that, I still suffer from some of that, and I do not like being around windows very often. So every time I go into a store or an old building or anything, I'm always looking at the windows and seeing if it's safety glass or not. I'm not sure that would call me a whole lot anyway, but the old building I was in that I fell through the window, it was not safety glass, and it wasn't didn't have to be up to code because they were grandfathered in, and it was just an old building. So no fault of the building owners. They just left the glass that was in there. but I am always looking, and it causes a little PTSD and anxiety sometimes when I'm around large windows. The other thing was 3 years ago, April, I had a horrible car accident, and I don't know if I can find a picture of that car or not on here, but I had a terrible time. I had broke my foot, my ankle, at the ankle. Basically, I had to roll out of the car, and whenever I rolled out of the car, my foot was just hanging, basically. And so the first guy on the scene kind of evaluated it, and he told me I had an open fracture, and I didn't really understood what that meant, or wasn't quite sure what I was dealing with. But anyway, they tried to cut my shoe off, and which they did. They had good luck. And anyway, they finally got my shoe off and took me to the hospital. And the doctor at the time, they were trying to get an IV in me. They had a horrible time trying to do that. Wasn't having any luck. But it finally happened. They got it. And so they took my foot and popped it back into place where it had to be. And luckily, the medicine was taking place right at the right time when it needed to be. And but anyway, I say that again to say, like the other accident, I was healed by the grace of God. I don't have any hardware or anything left in my leg at all. I'm able to walk. I'm a little overweight, and I probably need to lose some weight, and it'd be a lot easier on my foot if I would do that. But I haven't done that yet. But in time I will. But then again, God's a healer. So hang in there, Deborah. I promise you'll be better. It won't be long. I was trying to find. I thought I had a picture handy of that car. It was horrible. Oh my gosh! Look what I found. Let's see if anybody knows who this is. Anybody know who that is? Who those two guys are? Woo! That was a long time ago. You just never know what you'll run across sometimes. Come on. Who's got the answer? Who is that? Deborah. I thought of you today as I talked to a neighbor into seeking help. He wanted to take his life, and he had to be talking. Ambulance came to get him to take him for help. That's great. God gave me strength. Yes, he does. He does that right when you need it. Isn't that something? Sometimes when you think you don't have it or you can't go on, here he comes. So yeah, check out that picture. Does anybody know who that is? That guy is Rick Sutcliffe. You never know what you run across. Rick Sutcliffe was a Chicago Cubs pitcher back in the 80s. And this kid here, with his hair newly permed, because I was trying to get some Louie Michael hair going or something, and my mother permed my hair for me. And there's my mom right there. She says, "Is this your show tonight?" No, we've had to postpone that one, but I thought I would pop on here anyway. So anyway, this guy is Rick Sutcliffe of the Chicago Cubs. And this little guy is Louie Michael Bunch Jr., Jarrett Junior High School, Jarrett, Missouri. And yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 1983, I think. And I happen to be, look at that, I'm even dressed in school colors, red and green. Rick Sutcliffe, here's the lineup. Rick Sutcliffe, Lou Brock, Red Shanedeans. This is for the baseball fans. Red Shanedeans. I said Lou Brock. Who was the pitcher? Cardinals pitcher. Anyway, there was probably a dozen Major League Baseball players. They pull up in limousines in the Jarrett Junior High parking lot, and this was right after lunch when we got back to class. And I'm looking out the science room window. We had huge windows, and so everybody saw these cars pull in. And so we had word that the baseball players were in town. They were in for a meeting of some sort. And so Rick Sutcliffe happened to get out. And at the time, we had just got cable television like that year or something in Springfield, or the year before. And so all summer long, we were able to watch Chicago Cubs baseball because they were on in the afternoons every day. So with that being said, we got to learn every Chicago Cubs player there was. And so I spotted him right off the bat getting out of the limo. Then there was Lou Brock and all these other guys. So we had no idea why they were at the school. But me and a buddy of mine, while the teacher was distracted looking out the window, we kind of went back to lunch. Thought we'd go back, have lunch. We forgot something in the cafeteria. Anyway, we made our way downstairs, And I remember asking one of the teachers there, who actually came outside. It was actually his, I think it was a special education class or something that those folks had come to visit the kids. And here's me and this other guy. I think his name is John Smith. Went down there. Anyway, I begged for a picture with Rick Sutcliffe. So anyway, the teacher took a picture and then made me go back to class. But I thought that was a great trade. And I knew that someday I would be able to talk about that. And here I am doing that. So thank you, Rick Sutcliffe. I may have to send that to him sometime. That was a long time ago. I went to junior high and then went to Parkview High School one year. And then where else did I go? Oh, I went to Kickapoo. Sorry, I was searching. I was trying to find a car wreck picture, but you never know what you come up with. There's always something fun. I bet I could find something else that might make you laugh. Let's see, moments. Let's see what kind of moments I've got here. Oh, the mystery. Let's see. Collections. That's what I look. Oh, this is me when I was in the circus. That's been quite a few years ago now. Most people don't know that I was in the circus. I was working for Forrest Lucas one time, and I was singing at Lucas Oil Speedway. And so I got a message while I was down there singing that somebody wanted to see me. And I went up to the suite, the race car suite, and it was a guy that owned the circus, George Carden. And so he tells me, hey, you're going to open for me in Las Vegas in January. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah, he said, I love what you do. Let's get you hired, And I had no idea what it was involved with the circus, or even running away with the circus. And I wasn't really sure how I was even going to explain this to Patty. But I told him, I said, it's like everything else. People always promise you the moon, and they say, oh, I can help you do this, or I can help get you there, or whatever. The only person really, well, I can't say the only one. Of course, my parents, my dad. But one of the people that stayed true to his word and tried to help me any way he could was Johnny Van Zant, a friend who's with Leonard Skinner. And he always helped. But anyway, I did run away with the circus at one time, and it wasn't very long that I decided to run away from the circus and join a home. Hey, there's Sheila Lloyd. Hi, Sheila Lloyd. How are you? Sheila Lloyd, real estate professional extraordinaire. I work with Sheila and her sister and her daughter and her niece and all these special people at the firm in Ozark, Missouri. We have a great time. I feel like I got a bunch of sisters down there and I love them all. And haven't seen anybody in a while, which kind of frustrates me a little bit. I'd love to see some people, but hopefully one of these days soon. Let's see what else I can find here before I get off here. Hey, how about this? Did anybody ever go there? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you did. Glad to hear you're doing well. Been thinking about you guys. Hi, Jennifer. I hope you and Maddie are doing well, and I hope you get your butts home soon. Your hubby, he's been a bachelor too long. We know you guys are out there staying safe. But this was Louie Michael's Fire Grill and Bar. This was an old taco hut that was on Campbell Street. And somebody came to me at one time wanting to use my image and my name and open up a restaurant. And at the time we said, yeah, we'll do that, no problem. Well, the deeper we got into it, we figured out it wasn't such a good deal for us. So we got out and that restaurant never happened. But it would have been fun anyway. I would have loved to have had a restaurant. Jennifer's coming home Saturday. You and Maddie are Saturday probably jumping on the Allegiant plane and heading home. Hopefully it's not too crowded. And yeah, Sheila, I'm sick of this COVID stuff too. It's kind of put a kink in everybody's life and everybody's world. And now I'm sitting here scrolling through some pictures and just trying to find something funny to show everybody. A lot of people wouldn't believe half the things I've done. Mostly out of necessity. But let me show you this. Let me show you this. See if I look like him at all. This gentleman is my grandfather. That was my pawpaw. I don't think I've ever shared any pictures of him other than maybe a few on Facebook here and there. and he was not part of the New York Yankees. This was when my father, pictured over here, was down in Florida at spring training, and he had just signed with the Yankees. And I got to say, my grandpa there, he looked like he would be in the top management there. Let's see here. Debbie, it's National Police Officers Week. Thank you, all police officers. Absolutely. Thank you to all the officers out there, sheriffs, deputies, officers, chiefs. I'm fortunate to know some great ones, and I'm thankful that they still act like they like me, even though I've been a bad guy at times. A long time ago. I could always find trouble. Anybody else like that? Trouble just followed me. I just step right into it. Let's see. Lizzie, thank you for being on tonight. I know you don't know me, but you helped me a lot, and I just left an abusive relationship of 13 years. He's having a hard time tonight. So glad to see you're on. Oh, bless your heart, Lizzie. I'm glad that you're no longer in that relationship, and run far away. Just seek shelter in the arms of God and do what you got to do to stay safe and be out of those situations. I don't wish that on anybody, and I'm glad that you're out of it. And thank you for saying those sweet words. I don't know. I don't get on here as often as I think I'm going to sometimes because I just get tied up in doing day-to-day stuff. And I'll be honest with you, today was one of those days where I think Patty and I both struggled with just getting where we needed to be mentally. And we did. We finally took ourselves out to eat, which was going and getting some Mexican food. Oh, here's another cute picture I got to show you. Check out this kid. Don't you feel bad for him? That was me when I was 18 months old. And I believe this picture was taken in front of Kmart. That's Bass Pro Shops owns it now here in Springfield near their headquarters. But that was the old Kmart. And I was staying, I think, one night with my aunt and my uncle, Judy and Charlie. And I was trying to follow my older sister and my older cousins up the stairs. And they were wooden stairs. And guess who fell on his face? That would be this guy. But anyway, I've still got the scar. Let's see, which side was that? I can never tell anymore, but my mom always says, oh, the doctor just said it would be part of a wrinkle someday, and pretty much it is. Maybe it's over here. No, over here. I think it's right there. I don't know. Makes for an interesting story. I can always tell everybody that my sister pushed me up the stairs. And she's always like, no, I didn't do that. But my parents went to St. Louis to a ball game, and they never left me anywhere. And the one time they did, that happened. And I think, rumor has it, my uncle had to pretty much threaten the doctor with his life if he didn't sew me up, because they weren't going to sew me up since my parents weren't there. But let me show you another picture of my grandpa. My dad would probably... He could tell you who this player was or who this guy was. He was a coach. I think Clyde Boyer, or Clete Boyer. One of the Boyers. There were several Boyers that played baseball with the Yankees. And my dad, they were all down there coaching him when he was down there. But that's my grandpa. Do we look anything alike, you think? Is there any resemblance there? He was my favorite. He died when I was 10, and I still can smell him and remember him. I just he was sickly. He had some issues, but I always felt like I was a favorite. I was the youngest. I was the baby, so there's a good chance I was partially the favorite at one time. Clyde Boyer. Mom, you must have Dad watching there with you. I'm so thankful I still got my parents. Yeah, Clyde Boyer, got that. Let's see if we can find a picture of my mama. Of course, I got lots of pictures here. My dad just sent me a whole bunch of pictures here one day on a disc, and I love having these. And this is this is probably the one that makes the rounds the most. At least in our family, we're always looking at it or have it posted on something. But this is my mother, Debbie. Think we look anything alike? I think I got my dad's nose, but I don't know. There's a good mixture there. But yeah, that's my mama. She's I don't know if she's sitting in a GTO or what that one was. She'll probably tell me here in a minute. I was back in the 60s. My uncle had a GTO. My dad had a Corvair. And I don't know if he had taken her out with the GTO that night, stealing his brother's car or what. But let me see what else I got here. My dad catching. Well, let's see. Can you hear those frogs outside? They are so loud. Thank you, Sheila. She is beautiful. She is beautiful. Always has been. It was really a struggle when I was a teenager because I think some of them thought she was my girlfriend or something. I was like, yeah, no, she's not. Oh, here's another favorite of my mom and dad here. They were just youngsters. Babies. Babies, having babies. Baby, baby, baby. Oh, baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 boom, 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 baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Come back, baby. I want to play house with you. Okay, that's all the singing you get tonight. I think I started out looking for my my major car crash pictures, but I don't see them now, and now I'm stuck on other stuff. I got pictures of everything from Chico sticks to what am I doing there? With the Longhorns. Oh, here's one of my favorite pictures. Especially if you're an Elvis fan, you'll like this one. Do you know who those guys are besides that good-looking guy on the right? That was, the guy on the far left is Charlie Hodge. And Charlie Hodge was Elvis's, one of his best friends. He lived with Elvis at Graceland, actually, from 1960 until Elvis died. He lived in an apartment, which used to be the garage there at Graceland. And Elvis had made him an apartment. So that was his residence. So him and his wife, his girlfriend, whoever he had at the time, they lived at Graceland. And it was told that Charlie Hodge was one of the only people that could make Elvis laugh when he really needed to laugh. And that's why he was on stage with him all the time. He was the guy who gave Elvis his scarves, played rhythm guitar, and also sang backup for him. But that was Charlie Hodge right there on the far left. And the guy in the middle is DJ Fontana, who was Elvis's very first drummer back in the 50s. I think Elvis met him on the Louisiana Hayride with whenever he was starting out there. I think it's 55 or 56. And so, yeah. That was one of my favorite pictures. That was 1990. Of course, they're both gone now. And that was at an Elvis convention in Chicago, Illinois. And that is the weekend, I believe, I met Patty. And the rest is history. That'll be 30 years ago next month, June 8th. Holy moly, time flies, doesn't it? Let's see what else I can show of interest. Find something interesting. I've gotten to do some cool stuff, go some cool places. Got some sweet family. My girls, my beautiful girls. I was hoping I'd run across, I don't know why, but I was going to show everybody those wreck pictures. Maybe just because it's such a testimony that God could pull somebody out of such a nasty wreck. And here I am walking again and doing what I do. So, oh, look at this pretty girl. Check her out. There's Miss Patty. Yeah, she and I met June 8th, 1990. Has been a while ago. And she's been here with me through a lot of stuff. Hey, I see Donna Powers is on too. Hi, Donna. Donna and her late husband Jerry had me at McDonald's one year. I think I've even got pictures of that. This was a long time ago. I used to work at the McDonald's when I was 16 with my friend Chris Hoffman. They're on Sunshine, and Joe Post used to own that one. And I think it was the early 90s, which would have been only 5 years later. I found out that Joe had sold the McDonald's along with several others, I believe, and the Powers family had purchased them. So I'm not sure how it came about, but my good buddy Tony Orlando was scheduled to do the opening there, and I got a phone call, or we set something up, and I got to go and sign autographs with Tony and did some entertainment the next day. And there was actually a couple of ladies who worked at McDonald's back when I worked there that happened to be there that day, and we've got pictures with all of them coming out there with me and while I was singing and everything. So that was a fun day. The Powers built a beautiful building there, and I remember it had a 50s jukebox, and they redid everything. It was all out with the old stuff and in with the new. There's a fun picture here. Anybody know those guys? Get her done, Larry. His name's actually Dan. We call him Daniel. Nice guy. And Jeff Foxworthy. Everybody knows that guy too, right? Hear my dog barking down there, going after something. I don't know if you guys can hear all those frogs in the background or not, but yeah, such a beauty, Mom. You are right. She is. Or were you talking about Jeff Foxworthy? I'm just kidding. Let's see what else I can find. Oh, here's let's see here. I love all these old pictures of my dad when he was playing baseball. Let's see, which one should I pick? Oh my gosh, there's so many. Here, let's go with, I like this one because it shows his car and his, he had driven that Corvair behind you down to spring training in Florida, and it almost looks like it's raining there that day. And it may have been, but check out that ball bag. I wish I had that now. I think at one time my dad told me it was possibly eaten up by moths or something. May have been. But it's a good picture. I like that one. Well, I think I'm going to go, but I thought maybe I would end up with a cute little movie of Jetson over Mother's Day. Check him out. He's working so hard to get these fish off the hooks. And he finally gets it, and then he drops it. He just is amazed. This kid has his own playground out here. We're at the Indian Grove here at my house, and as you can see, I've tore up all around the pond because it was way too soft to be mowing, and it made a mess. But little Jetson, he loves the fish. I gave him a shop rag to hang on to so he could wipe his hands off. And my mother says that picture of Dad was at Winter Ball. There's one of my daughters. There's the other daughter, the wife, and Zane. So yeah, Mom said that one was Winter Ball down in Florida. And that picture of the crazy guys and me was up in Baltimore, Maryland. A long time ago. Let's see what else. Love these little movies of Jetson. He just cracks me up. Well, I think I've probably about bored everybody to death. I think I'm going to get off here now. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great night, and thank you for tuning in and saying hi. And yeah, Mom, Jet takes his fishing very serious. There's no doubt about it. Here, let me see if I got another picture with all of his fish. I'd be remiss if I did not show him with all of his fish. I thought I had That's something here. Check this out. Tell that kid he loves being out there. There he is with his net, and he was busy catching the tadpoles who already have little feet on them. So he was pretty fascinated by the feet growing out of those little suckers. Here he is with a couple of fish. We haven't pulled out any monsters out of there yet, other than I know we've got some carp and some bass and whatnot, but he keeps trying every time he comes. We dig up some worms and we fish with those, or we fish with the rooster tails. Whatever it takes, we put it on the hook and we try to catch fish. Does anybody else like catching fish? So, let me see what else I got here. Why not take all of me? Well, I guess no more fishy pictures. So I thought I had some. Well, anyway, maybe another day. I'll put something together and we'll have show and tell with all of Jet's fish. But in the meantime, I hope everybody has a great day and be looking for that number. I'm so excited about the new 988 number that's going to be coming out before long. As soon as the president signs it into law, it'll become official and they'll put all the money behind it and they'll get it put together. And then anybody that's dealing with any sort of suicidal tendencies or thoughts or worries or concerns or anything like that can call that number and get help. So it's very exciting that that's happening. So be excited. Be excited. The old number of 1-800-273-TALK, which is 8255, will still be available. But this one will be a lot easier for people to remember and adjust to. And it'll hopefully be posted in other places or many places where people are aware of it. Anyway, God bless. I hope everybody chooses to live. If you need anything or if I can help you in any way, please shoot me a message or give me a call. Be happy to help you in any way I can. In the meantime, please have a great night. Stay safe. Keep your radio on just in case the storms come through. I think about midnight they're saying maybe. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, stay safe and choose to live. And God bless. I love you.